Welcome to Movie Lounge. I'm your host, Stephen Lawson, and today we have an awesome show today. We're going to talk about the Oscars, and I have one question that got submitted over the weekend, and yeah. But first, I want to start off by saying that we're going to try to branch off doing new things, and instead of doing just a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday episode, we're going to try to do more of, with my scheduling, try to do more of like sporadic. We'll still have 2 episodes a week, but they won't be, I know Monday and Tuesday that'll happen most likely, but like the Thursday and Friday might be moved to the weekend or Wednesday, so it's going to be a little bit different later on during the week. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that, and I'm still looking for people to come on the show and give voice their opinion. And the only thing you need to do is, or have to be on the show, is love for film, and that's pretty much it. Just your passion and love for movie watching, and from there you can give your opinion on it. And so yeah, so we're gonna start off with the question first, and that comes from Cheryl. How can people use movies as a vehicle for helping to make the world a better place and an influence for good? Can you give some examples of movies that have done that? To answer the question, it's hard because I think everyone wants to do something that'll change the world or be an influence on it. I know there's like Unbroken that came out. I haven't yet been able to see it, but I heard it's really good. And I'm trying to think of other movies. I mean, I would put the Narnia movies in there. It's hard because you get different movies like that, and I think it can happen, but you're only going to voice your opinion, or you voice your thought and your influence to certain people, because certain movies are for certain people. And like Unbroken, it was more for like older people, vets, and Christians. And I feel like it can happen, but you're only going to get your voice out to certain people who see that movie. So it can be done, but it's hard. And for me, if I'm making a movie, I'm making for a specific audience. And if I'm making an action movie, I'm making it for the people who love action movies. If I'm making a drama movie, it's for people who love drama movies. And it's such a vast question because it can change. It changes a lot and stuff. And I know a lot of people, it starts becoming very political in the end. So yes, it can be done. And there's a lot of movies. There's not just one movie a year, or just one movie every 5 years. It's quite a bit of movies. Like American Sniper, to me it influenced influenced me to show more respect towards military people, because it showed that side of what happens when you go to the military, and what happened to Kyle with the mental side of it all. So, I mean, that's as good of an answer I'm ever gonna give you, because it can change. Like by next year, my whole opinion on this could totally change, or I could have more new things to tell you. So, yeah, thank you, Cheryl, for sending in that question. And yesterday was the Oscars. Did anyone watch it? Yeah, I don't think anyone that I knew, I personally didn't watch it, because I just don't find it, I find it very political and just very not fun anymore. As a kid, yeah, I loved it. I was like, ooh, I get to see all these movies on the TV and get awards. So yeah, I find the Oscars very political. I think I don't think winning an Oscar or being nominated an Oscar will determine your success. Does it help? Yes, it does. But it's more of just a political thing, I think, for me. And will it ever change? I don't know, maybe. I think 3 hours or however long it is just too much. But yeah, I finally got to see Birdman. Totally loved it. It's not up there as one of my favorite movies of last year, but I see why a lot of people liked it, and why it became such a success as it is. I mean, Michael Keaton is hands down awesome. Like, loved him in the movie. the reason why I liked it is because the way it was filmed, it was just different. And I see why it won Best Picture. And I'm kind of glad it did because it was different. Like, there was other movies like, I mean, Boyhood, 12 Years to Make, that's cool. And it was a little experiment that worked. And I'm going to be able to see that soon. But I think what Birdman did, it showed a whole different way of filming. And loved the camera angles and loved everything about it. Edward Norton, hilarious. Like, Edward Norton is awesome in anything he does. And there were some things I really just had a problem with, as I had the list up here. And one of the things that I was kind of like, well, that kind of sucks, is, and disclaimer, I'm not a Nolan fan whatsoever. I will go see his movies. I think he's innovative and he has a great vision of what he wants to do, and he's a great storyteller. But I feel like he's an awful character development person. Like, his character developments aren't there for me. And for some people, yes. Like, it's the same way with me and Quentin Tarantino. I'm not a big fan of his movies, but I think what he does is he brings vision to what his style is, and it's awesome. I think he should keep going with it. There's some movies I like that Nolan does, like Memento. The Batman movies are very interesting to watch. But with the visual effects, the problem I had was that Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was significantly better. And I felt like it kind of got robbed a little bit with it. Because Interstellar, you might as well just call it a 3-hour snooze fest for me. It was. Like, the cool thing was the space thing. That was awesome, and I loved that. But I didn't get the character development that I was looking for, and I actually had high hopes for this. I was like, this is going to be cool. Something different that he's never done. And I understood a lot of what the movie was portraying. And it's not a terrible movie, but I just felt like visually it wasn't... I was hoping for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes to at least snag that award, because that was significantly better. And I've already been bagged on for it and stuff. It was like, oh, it wasn't better. Interstellar was way better. It's like, yeah, but like, to me, and it's my opinion, and I understand that why the Academy picked it and stuff, and it is what it is and stuff. And I think that what Nolan is doing with film is awesome and stuff. I just particularly just don't really get into his movies as what other people think. And one other question I totally forgot about is that one of my coworkers actually asked me this, and he it was about Chris Evans and Snowpiercer. I'm gonna look it up right now. It's a very independent film that came out last year, and let me look it up. Snowpiercer. And he asked me, in one of the scenes in the movie with Chris Evans talking about a story about when he was younger, would that affect his future roles? And the story, what he's talking about, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to give away. It's an awesome movie. You should definitely see it. It's very intriguing and it's a cool concept of the whole post-apocalypse kind of thing. And one of the scenes I was talking about was, and I'm not gonna, it's pretty gruesome of the story that he was telling, and it was, I'm not gonna say, because if you haven't seen it, I don't want to ruin it for you, but it was something that could possibly affect someone's career just by what they were talking about. But what I told him was, it's pretty much anything. It's not gonna, anything that you say that could be extremely gruesome or just like, wow, I can't believe he said that. And so he was talking about what he was eating, and I'm not gonna say what, because it's like kind of hard. Like, I was just like, wow, that's kind of dark. But it was what he was talking about of what he was eating, and it doesn't really have much of an effect, I don't think, because it's part of the story, and it explains more of his past, of like where he came from. So I don't think in any movie the way with actors when they talk about something extreme, I don't think it'll have an effect on their career per se, and sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I don't think with Chris Evans' story that he told in Snowpiercer that it really won't have an effect. I mean, he's such a big actor now with doing Captain America and Marvel and doing his other things that it's like, it's really not going to be much of a game changer. I mean, he's already going to be retiring from acting for a while after, I don't know if it's going to be the 4th or Avengers 3, he's going to be done with acting for a while. But, yeah, so it's interesting to see how when a script is made and like what actors have to do in the film and what they do, it's part of the film, and if it goes, for me, if it goes along with the story, I'm fine with it. I have no problem with it and stuff. So yeah, it's the same way with when actors, when there's a movie with a lot of cussing in it, if it works well, like with The Town, with The Departed, if it's a movie, and I learned this in screenwriting, if it's the cussing, like swear words go with the story, like if it's about the mafia, you're expecting it, or if it's about gangs, you're kind of expecting the language to be a little bit more graphic. And that it's the same way with storytelling. When you're telling a story about your past in a movie, if it's a little too gruesome, it has to fit. It kind of has to fit the tone of the movie. If it's post-apocalypse, yeah, you're gonna get a much darker past story sometimes. So that's the rest of the show. And one of the other cool things is if you have any one of the things I want to do with the show is branch it out more. So and I'm coming to you as the fans, the viewers who are watching the show, if you have anything that you would like to see new on the show, and because I'm still trying to get guests on the show and looking for more people to voice their opinions on the show, so it can be a little bit more different. But if you have any like ideas, like, hey, this is what I would like to see, that we're willing to try and branch out and make this a much bigger show, you can email us at the movie lounge 15@gmail.com. And even with the questions that you have, I love your questions and I love answering them. Like it gives me a whole new like look of like, ooh, film, like I want to learn more about this too. Like, so there are some questions where I'm like, I have no idea, I want to go look because this is kind of cool. So if you have any questions or you want to give your opinion of like, hey, try this, like we're willing to try, just email us and we will totally look into that. And like, I want to make this show be about you guys. Like, what would you guys like to see? And if we try a new idea and it doesn't work, no big deal. There's probably 100 other ideas. Like, this is not the only movie show on YouTube. There's tons of them on YouTube. And I want to try something a little bit different because I'm sure you've all seen shows like just like this and you're like, oh, okay, this is the same. Like, I want to try it differently. Like, I want to try new things with a show that's in Northern California rather than shows that are in LA. Like, I don't get to go to movie screenings or like get to interview celebrities or other movies. Like, I don't get to do that. My whole job here is based on everything, the knowledge I've learned in film school and like over the past like 5 years of just making movies. And that's where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a filmmaker giving out ideas. So like, if there's more things you would like me to test out on the show, or like even when I have guests, how many guests would work on the show, like let me know. Like, I want to make this be about everyone. So, but yeah, if you have any questions, again, like you can email us at themovielounge15@gmail.com. We'll look at the questions, answer them, and we will keep trying more new things coming our way. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.